I've never seen a build with Pro moves, ISO up, and then just finish it in the post. When have you ever seen a build speed boosting like this, stop, go into the post, and hit a hot shot?
Zach, you've outdone yourself. That build is something I've never seen before, but I don't think you've made it the best way possible. Before the video starts, I'd like to give a big thank you to Zach for letting me revamp his build. Even though he thinks that his original build is better, I'd like to actually give him some thanks for giving me content. And his original build video and his channel will be linked in the description below. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button, because a lot of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. And if you've watched a couple of my videos at this point and you've realized that you're not subscribed, now is the perfect time to go do so. So why not? But going into this build, it's a really good build. You have to make it a very specific way in order to maximize its full potential. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then later I will actually compare it to Zach's original build. So go small forward, handedness and jersey number doesn't matter. But for the skill breakdown, Zach's build uses the yellow and green play shot pie chart, which is a good pie chart, but for this build, I'm going to be using the green and blue pie chart with a little bit more green than blue. And for the physical profile, there are realistically two options that you could choose, either the first pie chart, but for a post score, I don't think that's the best option because you're going to go minimum weight if you use this pie chart. And with a post score, you want to have a lot of strength. So I think the strength and agility pie chart is actually the best choice because the way I'm going to make the build, your strength and your speed will still be really, really high. Going into the attributes, skipping over the first two attributes, we're going to max out the driving dunk, the standing dunk, and the post hook, and put the close shot at a 79 to get 12 upgrades. Moving down to the shooting, max out the midi, max out the 3, and max out the post fade. And for the free throw, put that at a 68 to keep 21 upgrades without wasting any points. For the playmaking, we're going to max out the pass accuracy and the ball handle, and then we're going to put the post moves at a 52 to get 12 more upgrades. And finally, for the defense and rebounding, we are going to max out the perimeter defense, the lateral quickness, the steal, and the defensive rebound. And for these last 2 points, it really doesn't matter where you put it on defense because you're going to get a badge regardless. I would just put it on interior defense, but it's only 2 points. It's really not going to matter that much. For the body shape, there are a lot of choices you can go here. It's all personal preference, but me personally, I think it's really funny to go with a smaller, frailer body shape because people won't expect a skinny player to have a lot of strength. And we're going to actually max out the weight on my particular version of the build. And I just think it's really funny to have a skinny player tossing around buffer players with a bigger, higher strength rating. But you can obviously go burly if you want, because you're gonna look pretty thick if you go max weight with burly. For the height, go 6'5". Like I said before, you can put the weight all the way down, but your strength is going to suffer a lot, and there's really no point having 0 strength on a post score build. So you can either max it out or go 1 below max. You're still gonna have an 80 strength regardless, assuming you go default wingspan. But for the wingspan, you could go minimum wingspan again, but your driving stats do suffer a lot, and your defense does suffer. You can max it out too, but I think the best option for your wingspan is actually 2 below max at an 84.2 inches. But a cool trick that I actually didn't know before, if we go back to the weight and go back to the wingspan, go all the way down and then slowly go back up until we hit 84.3 inches, which is actually different from the first time. And as you can see, we get 1 more driving dunk rating, which is actually huge because this allows you to get contact dunk animations in takeover while still being a 98 overall. So you don't have to sweat all the time and stick with your 99 overall rating. And I didn't even know this the first time making the build when in preparation for this video. So that's a really cool trick that I didn't even know was possible. For the takeover, you have the choice of post score, sharp, and shot creator takeover. I would stay away from shot creator takeover and stick with either post score or sharp. But we're here for the post take, so that's the one that we're going to choose. And we have built a sharpshooter with post takeover. Whether or not you think a play shot with post take or a sharpshooter with post take sounds more comp than the other, me personally, I think that the play shot sounds a lot more comp with the post take. But it's undeniable that this build is way better than Zach's build. But me saying that won't actually matter unless I show you. So in this next section, I'm going to directly compare Zach's build to my build. Alright, the way I'm going to show you how much better my build is than Zach's is by looking at each of the build's stats at 99 overall and directly comparing how those certain stats benefits you when you are playing in the park or the rec or any other game mode. So looking at the shooting and the defending stats, both builds are very similar here. Zach's build has a little bit of a higher 3 and a mid-range rating, and the free throw is kind of low on both builds, so it doesn't really matter unless you're going to be playing 5v5 Pro-Am or Rec. And for the defending stats, both builds have a very similar spread of attributes, so those categories don't really matter that much. For the playmaking categories, however, Zach's build off rip has a 83 ball handle, if I'm not mistaken, which means he can get pro dribble moves off rip. And with my build, you have a 78 ball handle off rip, which means you cannot get pro dribble moves until you hit 97 overall. And to me, that is the worst part of the build. But in my opinion, there are still a lot of normal dribble moves that still get the job done. And to be honest, all you have to do is speed glitch all over the court and you'll still score no matter what your ball handle rating is. So me personally, I don't think it's that big of a downfall. You do have to grind the build a little bit to unlock its full potential, but I still think that this build can handle its own on the court at whatever overall, unless you're playing at a 60. Please don't play at a 60 overall in the park. But my build's biggest strength in comparison to Zach's build is the finishing category. And Zach's build does have a higher close shot, but that's the only category he has a higher rating in, is in the finishing category. My build has a much higher driving dunk rating at an 81 at 99 overall in comparison to Zach's build, which has a 71 driving dunk at 99 overall. So I have 10 attribute points in that category alone. And Zach's build is really good at dunking. If you have park dunks, then your build is set no matter what. But once you hit an 80 driving dunk rating, that means you get a lot of other dunk animations unlocked, like the straight arm tomahawks, side arm tomahawks, if I'm not mistaken, and a lot of other mean looking dunk animation that just help your player out a lot. But my standing dunk rating, it's at a 77, which means you get big man contact dunks, which is actually kind of funny on a 6'5" post score. But if you look at the post hook, my build has a 91 post hook, and Zach's build has a 79 post hook. And I understand that people might think post hooks are kind of cheese. They're very stupid and they take no skill. Some people are kind of right in that regard, but to have a 91 post hook in comparison to a 79, I feel like that's a lot better. And with the post fade stat, Zach has an 85 post fade and my build has a 96 post fade. So my build is a much better post scorer with a much higher post hook and post fade rating. And I think that's enough to consider my build over Zach's build. But to be honest, we're nearing 2K21's end and 2K22 is around the corner. This was just a fun little video. I feel like Zach's build is also really good. But no matter what build you go with, I feel like you're going to have fun regardless. So that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe if you're new. And yeah, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.